When asked to solve a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c, or any equation for that matter, it's asking what values, when plugged into the variable, will result in the equation becoming 0. Another way that this can be asked is if they are wanting the zeros of the equation. To find the value or values, all you need to do is set the equation equal to 0 and solve. And solving does involve factoring the polynomial if it isn't already done for you. And so the rule we're going to use to do this is called the zero product rule. And it's a very simple rule that states that if two things are multiplying together and that's set equal to 0, then we could take each individual term and set them individually equal to 0 and solve. So let's look at it in action. So we have x minus 4 times x plus 3. So this term, x minus 4, is multiplied by this term, x plus 3, and is equal to 0. So what we can do is we could take each one individually, x minus 4, set it equal to 0, and x plus 3, and set it equal to 0. And from here we can just solve, add 4 over to both sides, and x equals 4, subtract 3 from both sides, and x equals negative 3. And these are the two solutions to this equation. Same thing here. W times the quantity 3w minus 7 equals 0. We can just take them since they're multiplying each other and set them individually equal to 0. So w equals 0 and 3w minus 7 equals 0. Well, the first one's nice and easy because it's done for you. W is 0. So we're done with that one. And now here we're going to add 7 over. So 3w equals 7. And then divide by 3 from both sides. And we're going to get w equals 7/3. So this is the other solution to this equation. Here we have 2x squared minus 9x equals 5, but it's not set equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 and I'm going to subtract it to the other side so I can get it equal to 0. So I'm going to end up with 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 equals 0. And so from here, I need to factor it. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So what times what gives me negative 10? But adds to give me negative 9, negative 10, and positive 1. So factor down the quadratic, x minus 10, x plus 1. And since a is 2, this term up here, or the coefficient is 2, I'm going to divide everything by 2 and simplify. So x minus 5, and then this becomes 2x plus 1 equals 0. And now I can set each one of these individually equal to 0. So x minus 5 equals 0, and 2x plus 1 equals 0. So add 5 over, x equals 5, one solution. Then subtract 1 and divide by 2, x equals negative 1/2. And this is the second solution to this quadratic. So make sure that everything is moved to one side and that your equation is set equal to 0 before you factor and try and solve. Now those are some simple two-termers, second degree equations. How about something that's a lot more involved? So negative 6 times y plus 3 times y minus 5 times 2y plus 7 equals 0. Since it's already factored down and it's multiplying, I'm just going to set each thing equal to 0. So y minus 5 equals 0, and 2y plus 7 equals 0. Now here, negative 6 equals 0. That's not true. That's not true at all. So since it's the false statement, we just ignore it and get rid of it. Now I can focus on the other three. So subtract 3 over, y equals negative 3. First one done. Second one, add 5 over, so y equals 5. Second one done. Third one, I'm going to subtract 7 over and then divide by 2. So y equals -7 halves. Third one done. And so this equation actually has 3 solutions instead of the last couple that have only had 2. This one, 3n cubed plus 4n squared plus n equals 0. I see this has a GCF of n, so I'm going to take n out first and leave me with 3n squared plus 4n plus 1 equals 0, like so. Now, n is just on the outside, so I'm going to leave it alone, but I need to factor the inside, so 3 times 1 is going to give me 3, and what times what gives me 3, but adds together to give me 4, 3 and 1. So setting up my factor form, I'm going to get n plus 3 and n plus 1. And since a here is 3, I will divide everything by 3. So n times n plus 1, because that's what it reduces down to. And I'll bring the 3 up front, so 3n plus 1 equals 0. Now set all 3 equal to 0. So n equals 0, which is nice because it's already done. N plus 1 equals 0. And 3n plus 1 equals 0. Now I will subtract 1 over, and I will get n equals -1. So it's done. And this one I will also subtract 1 over, and then divide by 3, so n equals -1/3 for my third answer. So depending on the equation you're given, it could have 2 answers, it could have 3 answers, or more. Just go by whatever's given to you and let it guide you the rest of the way.